Hello and welcome to another 15 minutes with Devan. How has your week been? Mine has been delightful, and today is a particularly brilliant one. I think any day that we wake up hale and hearty is one that should be celebrated, so I'm in good spirits as always. But then it does seem as if the last 7 days, at least in Nigeria, have been the days where prominent married couples have featured prominently and not necessarily for good things. We've had, you know, Tega and Boma of Big Brother House, Big Brother Nigeria House. They got kicked out. Then, while that was still ongoing, we had the Idibias dragging each other on social media. While that was ongoing, Nedu of Wazobia FM, Lagos, also found himself in the spotlight for all the wrong reasons. It's Nedu's story that drew my attention today. There are quite a number of these stories struggling with each other, but I think this one is particularly important because of the nature of what is happening. It is beyond mere infidelity, and in my opinion, it has crossed the boundaries of infidelity to outright betrayal. I saw a post from one of my friends on Facebook, Elvis Allwise, posted yesterday. It says, OMG, so as a married man, you have to ask your wife if the child she is carrying is yours. This woman has no defense. And looking at the screenshots he posted, I can see where the lady in question, I think her name is Amaka, that is Nedu's wife. She has posted on her Instagram page, I never for once tell him I'm pregnant for him or the baby belonged to him. He assumed this on his own because we are married. I think he thinks too much and he can't blame me for this. I think that there's a way you mess up sometimes that it's better to just keep quiet and not say anything at all. Apparently, DNA tests have proven conclusively that Nedu is not the father of the first child in that union. And that is the biggest defense his wife has to present. At this point, I'm tempted to ask, okay, you don't have only one child. There are other children in the picture. Did you tell him that he was the father of the other children, or you also kept quiet with those ones? And if you did not go out of your way to tell him about the paternity of the other children, why would you expect that he would ask first for you to tell him the paternity of the first child? I came across a very irate post on Instagram, ostensibly from the guy's friend who had decided to weigh in on the matter and defend his friend from the allegations his wife was making online. The wife had decided, for reasons best known to her, to first go on Instagram and complain and drag Wazobia FM Lagos for allowing Nedu, who she claimed is a wife batterer, to continue being the presenter of a family show. After putting that up, I don't know what she expected. Maybe she didn't know that other people were aware of the entire scandal going on, or she felt that they wouldn't come for her, they wouldn't say anything. You see, the thing is, ordinarily, most Nigerians try not to wade into issues that involve a man and his wife, and I think it is wise. Because there's a tendency for couples to reconcile then make people who are taking sides look bad. So most people avoid the drama. They stay out of it. They talk to you individually, try and see if there's any way reconciliation can be reached, but they try to avoid taking sides, especially if they are not family. So, but in this particular case, after she had put that post up, somebody decided to challenge her. Osama comedian. In fact, the many people, this is what the Osama the comedian might not know. There are people who are thinking it is his wife that is, you know, in the mix of this whole thing. So I don't know how he put up the post that people got that impression. Because when I started trying to investigate it, people were telling me, oh, it's Osama the comedian. But when I started looking through and reading for myself, I realized Osama comedian only shed more light on the whole situation. Osama the comedian was the first person to come out and, give a different angle to the whole story, where he accused Nedu's wife, Amaka, of deceiving her husband by hoodwinking him into thinking that the first child, or that all the children are his, when in fact the first child is not, as conclusively proven by DNA tests. But then to make matters worse, in this particular woman's case, in this Amaka's case, not only did she cheat on her husband to the point of bringing in a child that is not his, the person she cheated with is her own sister's husband. So it is safe to assume that this Amaka is one of these people, I like to call them psychopaths. I'm not a psychologist, so I might be using the term incorrectly. Forgive me. For me, a psychopath is somebody who lacks any iota of a conscience. They lack empathy, absolutely. They just don't get when another person is in pain, why that person is in pain, and possibly even derive some pleasure from that person's pain. What was she thinking? Did her sister's husband seduce her with money? Was it a money thing? Was it just, she's in love with the man? What is it? Because she was already married when she took in for that child. So you have adultery, you have betrayal. And in the midst of all this, instead of this woman to, at the very least, just keep quiet, stay out of it. Don't use your teeth to dig a deeper grave. They say when you are standing in a hole, don't dig any deeper. She isn't bothered though. Rather, she's busy explaining to us how it's not her fault. The husband tends to overthink things, so she cannot be blamed for this. After all, she never told him that he is the father of the child. So by this woman's logic, Nigerian men should now run around the whole place asking their wives if the children that are being produced in the marriage are theirs. It's a very troubling thing because it happens with a degree of frequency that is just not good. There was a time I stumbled upon a story online of a professor, a Nigerian professor, who claimed that in his estimation, most children, most firstborns in Nigeria are not the biological children of the person that particular woman is married to. And of course, being Nigerian myself and a woman, I was incensed. I'm like, okay, bring the data, bring the study, where is the research pointing to this? But every day you wake up and you hear these kinds of very disheartening stories. A woman can marry a man and give him children that are not his for him to raise, and keep things quiet till that man dies and nobody will know any better. Earlier this year, I think sometime in January or February, a judge, I think a high court judge, in one of these southern states was all over the media. He had just found out that his first wife, whom they were no longer together, he had somehow found out that the children produced in that marriage, all, I think 3 or 4, not one was his. And these children, as we speak, they're all adults. Some have finished university. And not one child was his. Also the result of DNA testing. That is devilish. It is devilish. And I don't know why for these women, if maybe for some reason the marriage isn't working for you, why not leave? Just leave. If you're not ready to be married, don't marry. Nowadays, society is far more flexible. It's not like before where once you're not married, you're considered irresponsible. You come of age and you don't marry. You know, so maybe 20, 30 years back, it would be considered that there's something wrong with you. But now even women have choices. You can choose to stay single and live your life anyhow you want to live it. Yes, there will be the odd person saying some crappy stuff about you, but as long as you live, there will be people talking about you anyway, regarding, you know, just analyzing your lifestyle and being silly. But if you know in your spirit that you don't have what it takes to stay committed to one person, for me, I'd say just don't marry. You know, live your life so that you can do your thing whenever, anyhow you want to do it. But the minute you marry and take vows with anybody, you owe them, at the very least, you owe them fidelity. But here you are, you're running all over the place, you destroy your sister's marriage, you destroy your own marriage, and you destroy the life of a little child who should not be blamed for your irresponsibility. It's an unhappy story. I'll end this with the Boma and Tega saga. Tega has gone online to offer a public apology to her husband for her conduct in the Big Brother Naija house. I don't know what to think of that, what to make of that apology, because she had alluded to the fact that she and her husband had reached an agreement that she could, you know, get a bit wild in the house if that could help her win. And she was just playing out a strategy that they had already agreed upon. So if it was agreed on, why the public apology? Was she just lying and they never reached such an agreement? That's their business. But right now, that's where it stands. Boma has apologized to the husband publicly, online. And whatever the reasons are, I wish them luck with the marriage. It doesn't gladden anybody's heart when a marriage crumbles. It doesn't gladden mine. I wish them well in their marriages. I wish the Idibia as well too. And any other person who's struggling with marital challenges, I hope they get resolved. Remember to continue following my channel. Like, share, subscribe. And I'll see you again tomorrow with another talk on yet another relationship.